www.gnus.ai to purchase your tokens now.
In today's digital age, safeguarding digital assets has never been more important. With the increasing incidence of cryptocurrency crime, it's crucial to protect seed phrases from loss, fire, and theft. Introducing Secret, the secure solution for digital assets. Secret uses military-grade encryption and proprietary information dispersal algorithm to create hack-proof QR codes from any string of text, including seed phrases. These QR codes can be separated, making it hard for multiple QR codes to be lost or stolen. Secret's application can run both online and offline in a trustless environment, and all processing related to the user's confidential information is conducted on the client side. The safest experience for their digital assets and gain a competitive edge. Partner with Secret and provide unparalleled protection to your users.
Testing, testing. Hey, all our speakers for today, just make sure that you get a name tag with your names on it. H, Yours is outside, so just make sure that you check your names on it. Guys, we're going to get started in just 2 minutes. I have a quick question. As a social experiment, on our event page, we have been asking people if they want to support the event just to give 10 bucks. And there are some people who actually showed support. We had at least 15 people buying some of the tickets. Do we have any of those folks here? Because we have some special goodie bags for you. So if you have actually bought one of the tickets, you'll find goodies worth more than $10 in that bag. But I would love for you to just go out in the front, and thank you so much for showing your support. Just show them the ticket. It should say Friends of Web3, and grab a golden bag. It has a light-up LED T-shirt and some other cool merch in it. All right, we're about to get started. Hello, everyone. Sorry. Yeah, this looks fine, right? Hello, everyone. I'm Sonia. I'm the founder of Orbis86, and thank you, everyone, for joining us here today at this event. There are 500 to 600 events happening in this city this week, so we are extremely grateful that you decided to come and spend your time here with us. We have lots of food out there, so make sure you don't go away hungry. We have some nice chicken sandwiches, vegetarian wraps, and also a lot of snacks. The only request is that if you bring anything inside, don't spill it, and all the hot food has to be consumed outside. We have programming, we have some talks, etc. for an hour and 15 minutes, 30 minutes at most, after which we will continue networking. So I'm very excited to go ahead and get started. I hope the clicker works. Oh, there you go. So this is our agenda. We are starting at 5:45, so just push it out a little bit, but we should hopefully be able to wrap it up by 7. We have some great speakers joining us today. I hope everyone's here, or else when we get to the panels, we'll get to know. I did see most of the folks over here, though, so definitely excited for this. So a quick note about Orbis86. I won't bore you too much with the details, but our main mission is to create accessible onboarding and learning opportunities for people who are interested in learning about emerging tech trends like Web3, AI, quantum computing. We host a bunch of these events. This is in fact our 20th event globally. Most of our events are these small, intimate, half-a-day events where people get to network with each other, they get to connect with the speakers. At the same time, we are also working on various programs. We'll have some online educational curriculum also being offered to people so that they can learn about these emerging tech trends without burning a hole in their pocket. So that for us is extremely important because there are many people in this world who want to learn, but accessibility is a big issue. So what we want to do is try and create these accessible modes of learning as well as of meeting and networking with people. In the US, we have hosted more than 10 events, but we've also hosted events in Dubai, Singapore, India, Europe. So go ahead and subscribe to our calendar on Luma if you haven't done so already, and you'll stay updated with all of our upcoming events. All right, and you can learn more. We'll have this QR code up later on. Now we have a couple of videos with these events are not possible without the support of our sponsors. So we definitely want to give a quick shout out to them. This event is being sponsored by all of the lovely names that you see up on stage. Hedera, Genius AI, Orbiter Finance, and Secret. These are our sponsors for the event. So the food that you have, this menu that you have, it's all courtesy of these sponsors. We don't generally make money from the events, but the sponsorships help cover for the costs, and that's a lot. So we are going to just quickly play a couple of videos of two of our sponsors, and then for two of our sponsors, they actually have their product showcase. And then once we are done with the product showcases, we'll jump into the panel, which is the last thing for the event, and then networking continues. So quick information about Hedera. Hedera is a layer 1 blockchain that is focused on speed, security, and scalability. On the mainnet today, they have processed over 45 billion transactions, and the cost for each transaction, well, the average cost for transactions is 1/100 of a cent. So it's extremely low-cost transactions, and the mainnet today can easily process up to 10,000 transactions per second. So a quick intro about Hedera. Play the video.
It started with a vision for how the internet should work, how it could work.
It really should be possible for anyone to just kind of wave their hand and carve out a piece of cyberspace and create a world of their own.
But the technology to achieve such a vision simply did not exist.
There's no way that you can have really high throughput and also have all these security and fairness properties. I was able to convince myself it's not possible. And I set it aside, and it would come back and haunt me, and it would keep nagging at me. And so I would pick it up again and set it aside again, and this kept going for years.
3 years later, Lehman had a breakthrough, the hashgraph consensus algorithm. In 2015, Manson Lehman founded Swirls to battle test the algorithm in private permissioned environments. And the following year, Lehman published a technical paper. But in order to realize the vision of a fairer, more secure digital future for all, the world needed a trust layer, a public ledger built on hashgraph.
Okay, it looks like we are down to the final seconds here.
3, 2, 1. Open access.
The network is open. As of this moment, we have council member nodes online, ready to take transactions from anyone, anywhere in the world.
Since open access, Hedera has witnessed exponential growth on the network, with billions of real-world transactions, hundreds of applications, and tens of thousands of ecosystem developers. The Hedera Council has gone from strength to strength, growing to 29 members on 6 continents, stewarding the network responsibly and ensuring its longevity for generations to come. Hello, future.
So that's about Hedera, and as you have noticed, we have a little bit of an audio issue here, so some of the music is coming from the back, but please bear with us. And I also want to introduce Genius AI. Genius AI is a decentralized AI. It's a blockchain, but it is built specifically for decentralized AI compute. They are going to be launching later this year. Their testnet launch is in fact right around the corner. And today from Hedera, you're going to hear from Devin. You can just put a hand up. And then from Genius, you're going to hear from Ken. So you'll get to learn more about both of these chains in a few short minutes.
Magic. Imagine a life without technology. Technology has become an integral part of our lives and the backbone to many businesses in today's world. So much so that we have come to depend on it for day-to-day operations. Genius Ventures is revolutionizing AI processing and machine learning platforms by linking together smart contracts with payment systems through their own Genius token, GNUS. The Genius system is a hybrid token system, with the Genius token being released on the Ethereum network, and is linked to a super fast Genius token using a proprietary internal blockchain for fast processing. Genius tokens are used in a unique platform, a secure, smart, and easy-to-use platform that completely disrupts the way businesses do AI ML processing. Genius tokens are at the heart of a unique blockchain and software system, utilizing unused cycles of compute devices on computers, mobile devices, and IoT devices. The system processes artificial intelligence and machine learning data on an end-user device. Our team combines a passion for gaming, GPU industry expertise, and a proven record in technology, development, and cryptocurrencies. We are establishing our own internal ecosystem, starting with applications focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning. The system allows users to earn crypto while playing games, sleeping, or at any time using unused cycles of their personal devices. Our ICO is now live. You have the opportunity to get in early and join the revolution. Visit www.gnus.ai to purchase your tokens now.
Thank you, Hedera. Thank you, Genius AI. So, moving on, we have Elena from Orbis86 Finance. They are also one of our sponsors, and Elena today is going to talk about Orbiter Finance, which is a ZK bridge across multiple EVMs. And they recently raised a seed round of $3 million too. So Elena, excited to have you on and talk about Orbiter Finance. Please, folks, if you can put your hands together. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Elena from Orbiter Finance. Today I want to tell you the story of Orbiter Finance. Before the story, I want to ask you guys a question. How long have you already had like digital assets? Please raise up your hands. Okay, so now we'll begin the story of Orbiter. We started from 3 years ago. At first, we are the first ZK bridge on Ethereum rollups. And now we are building a multi-chain infrastructure. It's called EVM competitive chain interoperability, from 4 chains to 40 chains. In the future, we are building an omni-chain coordinator. In the first version of Orbiter, we do cross-chain protocol. We are the first cross-chain protocol on Ethereum. And because our engineering and funding, we also receive funding from Vitalik. In 2022, we made Maker system. Because of the systems, we got fundraising from OKX Venture, Tiger Global, and Redpoint. These are the achievements we have already had. We have accumulated about 4 million users with total transaction volume about $18 billion. And in the second version, we are going to build a multi-chain. Because after we integrated all those chains, we found a problem. What is the problem? The liquidity is fragmented by all those chains. So we are going to build an aggregation layer. It's a smart contract that authorization through ZK proof. The advantages of it is liquidity are shared instantly and the unified users' experiences. So beyond omni-chain, we also found that blockchain ecosystem is also fragmented. So now we are building a new project. It's called Rising. It means all chains in one hub. These are all the projects that are already built on Rising. For example, this project in their seed round, they have fundraising about $3 million. And this project, after their launching in 30 days, they have earned 13 ETH. The last thing I want to say is that the application with the best omni-chain experiences naturally win this circle. Thank you.
So that was Orbiter Finance, and of course, if you want to learn more, you can connect with Elena during networking. Next up, I would love to invite AJ. AJ is going to talk about Secret. Do we have AJ? Oh, there we go. AJ, if you could please come up on stage.
Hi guys, my name is AJ, and I'm here to talk about Secret. I hear from many people that they lose sleep over storing the seed phrases, like how to store them, and that has been an issue that we're trying to solve. What we have created is truly a self-custodial backup solution for your seed phrases that can be stored offline, and everything that you need to store your seed phrases. So what we do is we get your seed phrases, and we kind of slice them and get a set of QR codes out of them that are encrypted, and they're very secure. And we have a few patents that we're trying to protect our technology. So the way it works is it's really three simple steps. So let's go back, sorry. Down. Next. Yeah, let's go to the next one as well. Next, please. One more. Oh, interesting. Okay. So the first step is really choose how many slices you want. So you can get your seed phrase into 2 slices, 3 slices, and all the way to 11. The idea is like the higher slices gives you the more redundancy and more security. Step 2 is you kind of choose a threshold, so you can choose 2 out of 7, or in this example, you're choosing 2 out of 7. So any of 4 of the 7 QR codes can recover the seed. And the idea is like you print these QR codes as a step 3, and then you kind of put them in different places. And as long as they're away from each other, the seed phrase is safe. And also you can store them in different like digital devices, like you can email it to yourself, or you can put it on a hard drive, or put it on a thumb drive, or just a number of solutions where you can store these QR codes. What's unique about us, these QR codes are truly hackproof. I mean, if you lose one or it gets one of them compromised, it's fine. And to prove that, we have a $1 million bounty. Whoever can break our QR codes for whatever reason, we have a wallet out there that they can basically, we have some crypto there that can just grab it. Not $1 million worth, but we have some there. And for recovery, so again, for recovery, you can use either 4 out of 7. You can do either print out ones or digital ones. Any of the 4 out of 7 technically can get you the seed phrase back. We have an integration with the wallet company called Pay, and the idea is like as soon as you download the app, you can get the QR codes and print them or save them, share them like on social, not social media, like text it to somebody or email it to somebody and have them send it back. And for recovery, you just need 2 out of 3 in this example. Show on the next slide. So 2 out of 3. And this is actually live QR codes. If you scan them, it does recover the seed phrase Excel thing. I'm going to kind of go through this quickly. One of the things that I want to talk about is always recoverable at Orbi. Orbi is a permanent storage that is going to create to exist 100 years from now or even longer. So our application is deployed on Orbi.org. So if you got a, you can go back to, on Orbi.org, scan the QR code, and be able to recover the seed phrase and use back there. And the really gives you a password experience. You don't need to kind of remember any passwords. You just have to have enough a threshold of the QR codes, and as long as you have them in your position, you can scan them anywhere. One of the things that people really concerned about is their privacy, and our solution is 100% confidential against like government, providers, and even like if you share with your guardian, they can't learn anything from that. And also, what's nice about it is we're the only solution that gives you this self-custody with full autonomy, this easily and secure. One other thing that we do is we have estate planning. It can be used for estate planning, which, let's say in my example, let's say let's say you have a family of 4, you know, your wife and 2 kids or your spouse, and what you do is you keep one to yourself, you give one to your spouse, 2 to your kids, and give one to the attorney, and you kind of keep the threshold at 4. So any 4 out of 7 will, will result in the seed phrase. So if you forgot that you pass away, your family and the attorney can get together and be able to recover the seed. We are looking for wallet companies to integrate with, so I'm happy to chat about that if anybody's interested in doing so. And I'm going to finish with pricing that we have on the next slide. So we'll ask like how much does it cost. So we have the 2 slices is free. 3 slices we give out for free today. If you just kind of go to our website and kind of use like QR code or that coupon code, you can get that basic for free. Or actually, I think that's a 5 slice, so you're going to get the 5 slice for free. And it goes up to, for whales who get 11 slices to protect the millions of dollars that potentially they have. And account abstraction comes quite a bit as a competitive mode. Like somebody who competes with us. We have 27 advantages over account abstraction. I'm happy to go over that with anybody that wants to kind of talk about that in detail. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, AJ. You should be able to use the 5 QR slice, the code that's there, in order to generate a QR code. And just to mention that even though it might seem pricey, but you could actually use that QR code to store up to 20 seed phrases at the same time. So you're essentially able to slice up to 20 seed phrases and then recover those. Do we have Craig? Craig? All right. So, Craig, again, one of our partners, he was telling me that he may not be able to make it, so we'll keep moving. Next up, I would love to invite, before I do that, we have a couple of notes from our partners. I want to give a quick shout out to all of the folks. These are the people in our ecosystem who have helped us host these 20 events that we spoke about. It wouldn't be possible without the support of our ecosystem partners. Some of them sponsor our events, some of them provide us with free venues, some others come and help us out right over here. We also have a bunch of media partnerships. So today, I think we partner with more than 25 different Web3 crypto media publications. And after our event is done, you will find more coverage on these sites too. Moving on, One Piece Labs, we don't have anyone from One Piece Labs, so I'm going to skip. But in the Bay Area, if you come One Piece Labs, they are an accelerator and incubator for Web3 projects, early stage Web3 projects. And we host a bunch of events there with One Piece Labs. They also invest in early stage Web3 companies. I would love to invite on stage Jamal to talk about his brand MintMate. Jamal helped us advertise the event. He's again one of our partners. And Jamal, I'm going to move to the slide.
Thank you. First of all, I want everybody to give her a big hand of applause for what she's doing right now. Like when I mean like really just going into the paint and really making things happen, really making things come together. She's been here just throughout the whole time I've been in the space of Web3, like a partner right there next to me, right there on my side, always educating. So I want to thank you first. How's everybody doing? I know it's a long week out here and everything else, so I know everybody just relax right now. I'm the CEO of Mid-May Brands. I started around the same time, a lot of few other companies, more or less from a marketing standpoint. As an innovator, I'm also a developer and tech myself, so I'm a hands-on creator. With Mid-May Brands, we created an ecosystem which you range from various different brands and different industries, from gaming to travel to legal services. I want to talk to you after companies you probably could do a partnership with right now too. So we started this company right here with just efforts. A lot of my companies were started based on solutions that needed to be solved immediately. You know, we come from events and doing a lot of different things, dealing with a lot of different companies ranging from around the world. So we wanted to be innovative with the different brands and partnerships that we have through our ecosystem to bring the best opportunity for anybody that we deal with. I'm already a system, so I'm already helping. That's our philosophy at Mid-May. To be more transparent with businesses, you know, it's a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have a scope or guide to get to those next steps as far as pitching to investors, as far as coming up with the greatest marketing concept for your product or service in which you have. With Mid-May, we have to provide you with the best services and products in which we do. We range from like gaming, AI, new projects. We doing omni-chains on gaming right now. We doing metaverse travel. Some of the projects that we're working on right now throughout our ecosystem. Next slide. Some of the things you know have been what I feel personally has been authored to is collaborative culture. With technology is just knowledge. You know, we have to understand what we're doing, where we're going, what we're doing with our brands and services. You know, so some of the things we focus on being innovative in everything that we do. We want to create history with you, not without you. We want to have that transparency as far as the innovative ways in which is out there. Our coverage, being global, helps us get those new things that's happening. A lot of those are actual partners within our ecosystem. That's why we have strategic partners and everything there. And we focus on tech-driven solutions. Everything that we do and how I built my companies was basically transparency through the blockchain. I use NFTs, I use every aspect from layer 1s, 2s, to creating my own tokenomics and everything behind the products in which I do. Being an innovator, being an innovator and transitioning from being an entrepreneur to a CEO. It's not easy dealing with VCs. You become attacked by different companies, businesses based on innovation and what you got to do. So with Mid-May, we put it to where our integrations and our strategies and our company growth focuses on being transparent with that. You know, any questions? Questions? Here's your time. I done came from a lot of knowledge and a lot of people around the world. If you got any question, please feel free. I'm a communicative person. I like being engaged with my audience, engaged with my clients, and engaged with my partners. One more time, any questions? Honestly, I'm gonna say it's just becoming, some things are traditional. You don't have to really just explain it like how we just jumped into the industry. Everybody, Web3, AI, NFTs, it became like just taglines, just common buzzwords, rather than individuals who's actually developing, programming, raising funds, and actually coming with innovative products. Like say her deal flow right now. Her deal flow is spectacular right now because she takes the time, she understands, she knows the building process, she knows what we don't look at the effects of what happens after. If that makes sense. You know, so dealing with investors, like the last 6 months, I'm gonna be real, I'm elevating to investor relations and learning how to deal with those individuals, those companies, what's the best move, what's the best strategies on how to proceed. You know, a lot of it is just buzzkill, you know? questions? Okay, thank you. My time is gone. Got to move. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamal. Can you move to the next slide? And so Jamal hosts he actually partners with a lot of folks like Orbis86, and he helps them promote their events. And if you join his group on WhatsApp, you'll stay abreast of a lot of events that happen here in the LA area. So that's Jamal. Quickly moving on, Thread House. Unfortunately, we don't have Manny joining us here today, but Thread House, they are renewable fashion. They're built on top of Web3. And this is our last partner video before we jump into the panel. So if you can play the video. Hit once again. No, go back. Go back to the video. Okay, I'll just come down there.
There's a lot of waste in the world. There's a lot of waste caused by the textile industry, by the fashion industry. So when I see waste, I see the opportunity to bring new life so it doesn't have to end up on the streets.
This is Manny Jackson.
I've been building a brand and a vision where we can empower our community through education, through sustainability, and through innovation.
Custom 101 with the NFC chip in it. You get royalties for every one that's sold.
You go to concert, and then you get the video and go to resale or repair. Let us know. And back to the product.
Another thing that I'm very excited about is our latest project.
Oh, this is so cool.
I'm creating jackets that actually also convert into sleeping bags. And our goal is to be able to supply our homeless community, particularly our homeless youth, with these duffel bags. I'm so excited about this, so stay tuned. This is our next project. We'll show you a little bit more, tell you a little bit more about it later. Peace.
You can support us by helping us make our first 50 pieces. Buy one, donate one. Sign up today. And thank you for helping us address the world.
That was our partner Thread House. Do support them. As Manny said, they are actually right now working on a project to supply duffel bags to the homeless communities out here in the Bay Area. And I think it is a great way to give back to these people who are looking for some semblance of dignity as well, not necessarily just looking for sympathy all the time, but ways in which we could support them. And with that, we are coming to our panel. I would love to invite our panelists on stage. Could we please have Ken, Devin, and Julian? Right on time. Lucas. We could probably just sit in the order of our names, though I'm pretty sure people won't get confused. Everyone looks very different. And we have 4 microphones, so we'll share one. Just going to start the timer here. All right, folks, before we started, how many of you here are excited for this panel? All right, I'm glad we have some energy in the room, so thank you. And if you are feeling hungry again, you know, there's lots of food outside. After this panel, we are going to jump straight away into networking. So I'm very excited to chat with our diverse group of panelists here. And I'm not using the word diverse just for the sake of it, but as they talk about their backgrounds, you will see the diversity they bring to the table and to this conversation. So starting from Ken, I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience. Let's take 30 seconds to 40 seconds for the introduction. So Ken, starting from you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ken. I started Genius AI in 2016 to do AI for the good of humanity, basically to help solve cancer. Quickly realized that there was a lot of economics behind it and we could integrate it into games. My background is technology. I started out programming video games in the 80s. I probably have like 20 games under my my belt, and then I started several companies over the years, and Genius is my last company that I started that is going to take me till the end of my career, or actually till I die, pretty much. So.
Hello, everybody. I'm Devin Saxon. I am head of product marketing at Hedera. Hedera is a layer 1 blockchain, and we kind of have a broad focus of different projects that are built on top of our technology, including gaming. I guess the majority of my time at the company is spent working within the ecosystem, like helping support projects through case studies, getting them on our sort of mediums to promote whatever message that they need, help bring products to launch, work closely with developers. So yeah, just looking forward to the rest of this panel.
I'm Julian Broadus. I'm the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador for WAM, which stands for World Arcade Machine. I'm Snoop Dogg's youngest son, so I've been in gaming, I've been in entertainment, and branding for the longest time. So, you know, to be able to be 26 and do my thing in the crypto space, especially now, is amazing, and to be up here with awesome panelists is even more better. So I'm just ready to get it rolling and rocking, guys.
I'm Lucas Bean. I guess I've been in the web industry since like Web 1, guys. So I actually really saw like I guess the bubble of, you know, Web 1.0, Web 2, all the way up to Web 3 now. So my background is out of grad school, got a job at like a startup. Back then we called them .coms. That company, a year after I started there, sold for like $500 million, which was insane. At the time I was like, wow, I'm in the right space. And then I kind of worked for a couple other companies that all sold for about $500 million. Ran global marketing for Atari, ran divisional marketing for Sony Pictures, started a couple of my own startups that didn't do so well, and then a couple that did do pretty good. Exited that one in December of 2019, my last one, although I'm working on right now. I'm the founder of a company called Social Proof, which is ad tech mixed with AI, so you can actually leverage AI in terms of what most people would be doing. You could have like a 40, 50 person company. I could actually have a 5 or 10 person company, because a lot of the vetting and things that you need to do with social influence marketing is done by people at most of these companies, where we leverage AI in order to vet them and also find out whether or not they have real, authentic influence versus fake followers and things like that. So glad to be here, and what a great panel.
So I am very excited to dive into our questions for our panelists here. Just before that, I wanted to quickly mention that Lucas and I, my very first Web3 panel, we were panelists together, and the guest of honor at that event was Snoop Dogg. that was the first time, actually the only time when I got to meet Snoop, and then we made an NFT for him, and he was like really one of the chillest guys we have met. So serendipity, it comes around in full circle, right? They say Web3, it's a small world right now. So very excited to have that legacy continue with Julian, Calvin. The Brodus family has been setting new milestones after milestones in the space.
I'm really grateful to come from like a family that was always doing something innovative, because it has me like, I'm always looking for what's new and what's next. So it's an amazing process of thought to be able to have that from my brother, from my grandpa, from my dad. So like everybody in my family somehow, some way stays in the news. So it's just a blessing, you know?
It is. And I would love to start with you, Julian, because obviously, you know, you have a legacy, and I'm not just talking about Snoop making headlines with his various Web3 initiatives, including launching a record label company on Web3, but also Calvin is a very savvy investor, invests in people, invests in Web3. And what I would love to ask for you is, today you're here representing WAM, right? The Brodus family has been about supporting communities, not just through Web3, but also in general. You know, there's a lot of social good that has been done by your family. I would love to ask you, what kind of vision do you see with WAM, with Web3 gaming, as we move ahead into the world of Web3? How do you think this can bring people together and perhaps help support them in ways that we haven't seen in the past?
Well, WAM is a platform where users compete with other users to earn digital collectibles. such as tokens and NFT collectibles. So that right there is always fun to do, to be able to compete with anybody and anything. I've always been a huge competitor, and that's like what my father instilled in us since an early age. And you know, it helped me stay disciplined, it helped me stay structured, being able to play sports, being able to do business, being able to see how entertainment flow really is at an early age. So, you know, I see WAM giving people the opportunity to really have a competitive edge and an aspect of playing from anywhere you are because of the portability that we have and we offer. You know, we're open on the Google and the Apple Store everywhere but US and South Korea at the moment. So to be able to be a part of something that's already like launched internationally and they're just trying to really penetrate the US market and have me on board to help with the thought process and the creativity and, you know, come up with cool ideas like clothing, stuff like that too. It just gives people the inspiration who are young or older. It doesn't really matter when it comes to age. It's just like there's so much to do when it comes to gaming, and I've always believed that gaming and the internet is going to be around forever. And you know, COVID really opened everybody's eyes to how important it is to be able to make moves from the house, be able to handle meetings, be able to game, be able to just live life from home. You never know when we'll face another lockdown. You never know when we'll face another pandemic. So it's always about staying on top of the ball before, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Thank you, Julian. By the way, guys, I know a lot of times we assume that when people are coming from successful families, they always have it very easy. But you should go and look up Julian's story as well, because he has a great story to tell for himself too. We're not going to dive into that today, but a lot of the times we are very presumptuous, right? But everybody has their journey, and I do agree with you that Web3, in a way, I do feel that it levels the playing field because it's so new. We still keep saying, right? Like
it
we are
brings
still
so
very
many
early.
like new athletes, celebrities, like investors to the table because, like for instance, I've been dealing with Lamar Odom and a couple other people like Tyrone Woodley through a mentor of mine that are getting into the space as well. And to see athletes who have dominated and conquered in their perspective in their respective lane is like insane, because now they're trying to really go as hard as possible and take that same work ethic that they had in the sport, whether it was fighting or basketball, winning championships with Kobe, or you know, knocking dudes out from Tyrone Woodley. Like they want to achieve new heights, and cryptocurrency is a lane for them to be able to you know, push themselves and test themselves, because it's not an easy game. I've been in the workspace for crypto for the last few years. My brothers did a lot of stuff with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. My dad had the Cosimo Medici with the whole $17 million worth of NFTs. So to be able to still like see people find a way and, you know, keep it fresh and innovative, like Iggy Azalea, for example, and how they build communities and interact with their fans is priceless. You can't really compare anything to it.
Thank you, Julian. Agree with that. And with that, since we're talking about gaming, I'm going to go to Devin, because Hedera recently has been making a splash at the various Web3 conferences. We see Karate Combat right there, and we see BitBoy fighting it out, and we see a lot of famous influencers out there in the ring, but also a lot of famous mixed martial artists, and then the Hedera logo is right there in the center of that ring. So I would love to follow up on that question, like besides gaming, and we can also lean into gaming, but obviously Hedera, we are seeing that gaming angle come through. Besides gaming, what else are you excited about that's being built on Hedera that will help us bring communities together?
Yeah, I think one of the to like start with gaming, one of the coolest things about the Karate Combat, I don't know, is anybody familiar with Karate Combat out here? Yeah, it's this like mixed martial arts league. It's karate, actually, not mixed martial arts. Well, they have a few. That doesn't matter. It's a combat league that has an app that goes with it that really gives the fans this like voting power. So you can think of it as a DAO. For example, like most recently in not this last event, but the one before, the fans were able to vote in elbow striking into the league. So there was enough people that were convinced, or that wanted it, and they put it in the league, and it added a few more knockouts at that event. So more knockouts, you know, and kind of by direction gives you more fans, it brings more people to the app. It's like Karate Combat is doing a really good job. But I think one of the things that sort of makes that league so exciting is that they don't really lead with the Web3 sort of messaging. They kind of just present this app. They say, hey, you can do all these cool things. You can choose which fighters fight who. You can pick which fighter you think is going to win. You can figure out like where this next event is going to be globally, like empowering them. And all this is powered on top of Hedera. They have like a whole currency for the voting system that's called Karate Token that is tokenized on Hedera. And basically I'm saying I think that like sort of point of view of like really just presenting the value and kind of empowering the user is a really good way of sort of lowering the barrier of entry for people who are outside of Web3 into Web3. So tokenization is another really big focus on Hedera, like it's kind of lowering the barrier of entry into just investment in general. So yeah, going through that sort of purview I think is what makes us kind of find those projects that are successful.
Hedera actually has a lot of institutional funds already tokenized on Hedera. Those assets are in billions. I forgot the exact number. Devin probably can probably lean into that. And also Karate Combat, interestingly, they are launching one of the first layer 2s on Hedera. So Hedera, just the layer 1 itself is extremely fast, but as we know, when you roll up into a layer 2, there are certain advantages that come with it. And Karate Combat, they just made an announcement they're going to have their layer 2 being built on top of Hedera. So we have gaming, and yes, a lot of the institutions are also being onboarded onto Hedera because their funds are being tokenized on Hedera, including one of the BlackRock funds also that is being tokenized, that's already been tokenized on Hedera. So definitely go ahead and check those out. With that, I'm going to go to Ken. Ken, let's talk about Web3 and AI. I'm very excited about it because a lot of the times when I go to events and stuff, it's mostly, especially since Bitcoin started, like, you know, the price started going down a little bit, it started becoming, and then Gen AI with Open AI, with ChatGPT, everything was suddenly about AI. And then I've been hearing people talk about, oh, AI is the new buzzword, right? You know, AI is like the Web3 killer. And I'm like, they complement each other. It's not Web3 or AI, it's Web3 and AI. And you're bringing those two together. So I would definitely love to ask you, because you have some interesting projects already lined up on Genius AI, which can help support so many gamers, so many companies that build games, as well as people in developing nations by, you know, helping them monetize their time and their devices. So excited to lean into what you are doing with Genius AI in order to bring together Web3, AI, and community.
Yeah, so originally I started off just doing AI in 2016, but coming from a gaming background, I saw that everybody was trying to push, you know, the cryptocurrency or the blockchains down into games and getting people to either do a new game in Web3 and focus on the blockchain side of things. And I thought that was the wrong approach, because coming from the game industry and doing games myself and writing a lot of software, I realized that we needed to make it zero friction. So the AI first was there, and then we decided we could integrate this fairly easily. While you're playing a game, you can do the AI in the background. And so then monetization channels started to open up where the developer can basically integrate our SDK, and then all the players can get paid while they're doing the AI for the good of humanity, you know, for solving cancer. So we often have a saying, or I have a saying, that's basically, look, you can play a video game and cure cancer. When I lead with that, people are like, ah, ha, 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 yeah, right. And so I have to kind of explain to them the underlying technology. And so what I've done is, because coming from the gaming industry itself, is I call them plain old applications or plain old games. We're bringing those forward into the blockchain space. And so I don't really like the term Web3, because these are just like, you know, your Xbox games or your PlayStation games, or, you know, your mobile games and things like that. And they're not Web3 really. And so of course we can do Web3 games, it's not a problem, but what I've tried to do is make bring all that industry forward, since I was in it for so long, into the blockchain space. And we did that by basically making it zero friction, and actually we call it negative friction in the bottom, so you can basically not have to worry about or even know that you're really on a blockchain. So it's really, you just develop an app, you link to our SDK, and now you're part of the AI processing nodes that can help cure cancer and things like that. So it benefits the world in general, because like we can have people in Africa that have mobile phones, and they can basically be watching a video or listening to music or playing a video game, And then in the background, they're actually solving cancer or doing AI for the rest of the world. And so they will get a payment out to that, and they can turn around and use the Genius token then to trade that for pretty much anything, other in-game items, or transfer it to Ethereum and then pay for a doctor. So it kind of benefits the world in a general way, in that we're building this massive blockchain infrastructure that's doing AI, and it's kind of, I don't like to say that we compete with people, we disrupt. We're disrupting the whole entire industry when it comes to this kind of decentralized cloud service or GPU service for AI. And so I think that's kind of what it benefits, is because everybody then gets to earn some money. Instead of it all going to the big players, it actually gets spread across the world to people so they can use it.
Absolutely, and the processing costs are actually a fraction of what you would spend with the bigger players like AWS, GCP, etc. Yes, the speed probably today is not there, but it is still fast enough to support a bunch of applications. Especially when people think about decentralized AI, they think that because of the latency, things can be really slow, but that is far from the fact. It's maybe not as fast as having a server right next to you, but it is still extremely fast for a lot of production use cases. By the way, we have all been so far talking about friction, right? I just want to ask a question. How many people in the audience think that onboarding to Web3 is a piece of cake, super easy? Not a single hand went up. So I feel like it's great we're having this conversation, because I feel that is the single largest hurdle today to build Web3 communities, because onboarding is so hard. In fact, how many of you here use ChatGPT at least once a week, if not every day? Yeah, all of our hands go up, right? Now let me ask you this. Before ChatGPT came out, OpenAI had a playground for around 2 to 3 years, because the first version of the Transformer and the Access came out in 2018, but you had to sign up for the playground, you had to be in a wait list, and then you had to actually write your own prompts, because today ChatGPT, it automatically creates the prompts in the backend for you. But at that time you had to do it. So in 2018 or even 2019, how many of you were using OpenAI then? See, just a couple of hands, right? The turning point for OpenAI was the launch of ChatGPT, something that is zero friction, where people don't have to go and first pursue a PhD, get a doctorate, and then start their onboarding process. So that's where we need to get to when it comes to Web3. And with that, I'm going to come to Lucas, because Lucas, you are actually working on social proof. And since we are talking about community, social proof is all about communities, bringing people together. And also, one of the biggest hurdles of Web3 are also the scammers. Anonymity is a blessing, but people find a way to turn that into a curse as well, right? So I would love to ask you, Lucas, in terms of building community and with what you're doing at Social Proof, where to next?
Good question. I'm going to say that, I mean, at the end of the day, the way AI works, and again with blockchain, again, you guys have, it's a dirty word. We still talk about Web3, it's still a dirty word a lot of the times. That's why it's hard to onboard. So it's first the social stigma, and then it's this other piece of hiding the wires, which you were basically doing, which is really smart when you want to onboard people into blockchain, because you're making layer upon layer upon layer of complexity, and no one wants to take part in that, of course. Yes, frictionless is the only way to do it. So I think also you can get tricked, clicked on a link, and all of a sudden lose all your money in 2 seconds flat. So with those layers of complexity and then being able to lose and get hacked very, very quickly, and even from Google Ads, people run scams through Google Ads and all that stuff happens. So I think the complexity of onboarding these people, or onboarding companies and then people, is going to be really, really difficult still to this point until we solve the problem of hiding the wires, the security part of the encryption. AI can help with that. And then we have the leverage of people with big audiences over here. Huge influences, which is what Social Proof does. We basically run tons of large-scale Fortune 5000 and managed services for Fortune 500 brands for their influence campaigns. and we leverage AI, and sometimes we leverage blockchain in order to like make sure tickets that are sold or products that are sold are actually authentic. That's what's cool about blockchain, that maybe I'm preaching to the choir in this room right now, but you know, a lot of things that can be, you know, my brothers were scammed on the internet, probably from Craigslist like 5 or 6 times about fake tickets. They're like, oh great, I got a ticket to the concert. They get to the door, like, sorry, wrong tickets. These aren't the right ones. So like that could never happen again. So imagine being able to like buy a product and you know for sure it's real. Like there's so many benefits to what blockchain or like let's just say an entry in a ledger across a distributed network like blockchain like creates. Your medical records, your driver's license, everything that cannot be duplicated or has an expiration date can be put on chain, and like your entire life can be basically secure through chain. And I just think I see that as the future. How do we do it in a smart way? AI can encrypt data cross-chain and then unencrypt it very quickly for use in a wallet somewhere in terms of like an Apple Wallet. Same thing can go with, I guess, detecting fraud across blockchains as well. Detecting financial transactions to make sure fraudulent transactions aren't happening. So many things AI can actually leverage with blockchain that can make it like very, very easily usable and functional for us. But again, I think we got to get past some stigmas, and we also have to get past the hiding the wires part, which this guy over here is pioneering. I love it. Awesome.
Thank you, Lucas. Again, you know, we are talking about just making it frictionless for people. Back in the day, or even today when we bank, we don't really care whether the banking application is built on Java, on JavaScript, on .NET, or whether it's still using mainframe. All what we care about is it works, and I'm not losing my money. That's what we care about, right? But in Web3, you have to know, if you're going on Solana, you have to get the Phantom wallet. If you're on Hedera, you'll get Hashback. You can also get MetaMask. If you're going on any EVM chains, MetaMask. But if you move from Ethereum to another chain, you have to go and figure out how to add the RBC address of that chain to just get connected to that chain. Boy, it's not an easy journey. So I'm very excited about the day in the future when people don't even realize that they're getting onboarded onto Web3. It's really a smooth step forward. But in order to drive this mass adoption, Julian, the role of influencers is extremely important. Unfortunately, in the past couple of years, we have had a lot more influencer scams than influencers actually successfully onboarding people, right? So I would love to again lean into you. You again are an ambassador, right, for WAM, but at the same time, also as an influencer, what do you think are some ethical questions that influencers should be looking at, especially as you're talking about bringing your community, and your community loves you, so you want to bring them onto an environment where they also feel loved and they feel secure. So the role of influencers in building these Web3 communities.
I feel the most important part about being anybody that's a creator or influencer and you're attaching your name to any project or product is you have to believe in the product yourself. You have to be able to see the longevity in what you're doing, because if you don't, ultimately you'll fall out of love or fall out of lust with what you dreamed of from the project that you're working with. For me, I'm a gamer. The first thing I woke up and did when I was a kid was always play video games. My dad, he's a competitive person, so he would leave Xboxes, and the beginning Xboxes, I'm talking about like the original where the fucking screen would load up and it'd be like and a crazy noise, and it was just a whole atmosphere of like being embodied in playing the sport or the shooter game, whatever, GoldenEye, Call of Duties, when they used to be coming out back then, they were really fire. It was just always something to be competitive and to be able to learn, to be able to have a different perspective. So for me, like, I always thoroughly investigate whatever I am a part of, because you know, you can't just hop into anything, and not every bit of money is good money. I've always been taught that. So, you know, having a father who literally does everything that you can think of, from movies to TV shows to still making music and music videos at 50 plus years old. You know, like, I'm 26, I'm half that, and I'm really just starting out in my career, but I've been in crypto for 5 years, and I've seen a lot of projects get built, and I've seen a lot of projects be destroyed. And ultimately, it's still very early in the space, and the barrier of entry to get into crypto is way different than it was 5 years ago, let alone 10 years ago. I have this conversation with a lot of people, and they're like, oh, why didn't you get into crypto in like 2013? Well, in 2013, I was still outside, like playing basketball, football. I had no thought process of me going and investing money into something that was like not visible. And at that time, it was like a lot of people were thinking that way because they're like, where's my money going? Nah, nah, nah. And now, look, you know, you fast forward 10, 11 years, going into 12 years, everybody wants to adapt cryptocurrency and to figure out how to be able to implement it into their daily lives. So with influencers, they have to really realize, like, you're going to attach your name to something that is a pump and dump, you're going to get a lot of hate from the fan base that you have existing. So you have to make sure you're a part of something where people have real aspirations of making this going to be here for the long term, because if you don't, it's just going to end up being really bad for you, your fans, and the people you work with. So, you know, just vet everything out and pretty much believe in the projects you work with. That's the most important thing I would say that influencers got to realize.
I do agree with that. And there is a difference between failure and scams.
Yeah, you can learn from a failure. From a scam, it's like, damn, like you just lost what you worked for, and
you learn how to run another scam.
Yeah. I think the worst scams right now, or like they always have been the email scams, or freaking the fake airdrops that people do, and then they sell like
the check scams. They still happen after all these years.
Yeah,
fake checks.
Fake checks is crazy.
All right. So, Ken, I'm going to go to you, and I'm going to ask you. So, Ken and I, we were speaking at an event by the city of SF just last week. And obviously, we were talking about what can be done to support communities. So, Ken, I am going to lean into that conversation that we had, and I would love to, again, reflect on some of the conversations we had then. I would love to ask you that as an organization, right, what can an organization that is seeing good success do in order to support communities and in order to help onboard people into Web3? Now, obviously, from Julian, we heard the perspective of what influencers should do. From you, I would love to hear the perspective of what ethical responsibilities Web3 organizations have today when it comes to securely onboarding people into Web3 and holding their hands in this journey.
Yeah, well, just so you know, I grew up a gamer too, by the way, and we both turned out pretty good, so that's great. In general, though, organizations, back to the hiding the wires thing, it's, you know, you have to have the security in there, and that's what we're currently finishing up with our project, is we have the wires hidden right now, but we also have to make sure that it's secure, and I think security is going to be the biggest thing, because if you're, even for communities, like, to get them involved, you know, everybody thinks cryptocurrency is a scam, so I hate calling it cryptocurrency. It should be crypto tokens or blockchain. And that's one of the reasons I'm here at Orbis and sponsoring this event, is because I want to, you know, educate people that cryptocurrency and the blockchain in particular is a technical ecosystem that can help in, like you said, making sure your tickets are valid. Speaking of, we got scammed once. My wife got scammed once. She ordered them on Craigslist, and I said, don't do that, but she did it anyway. Luckily, we only lost $100, but it was still, you know, one of those things. And so in general, I think the communities want to feel safe, and so there's a lot of security in not only their money, but just, you know, making sure that you aren't getting taken advantage of and things like that. And so I think that's where organizations really need to focus, is to make sure that the people feel comfortable. Like, you wouldn't go to a bank if you knew somebody could walk in there behind you and just take your money, you know, from there. And so I think the security part of it is really, really important for the Web3 and in communities in general.
Thank you. I do appreciate you leaning into security, because yes, I feel that coming into Web3, that was the first thing that I had to educate myself about, how to stay safe and secure. Whereas in a lot of other places, when we are learning about something, security is not the first thing that you learn about. But in Web3, fortunately, as they say, right, your seed phrases are your responsibility, right? You have great power in your hands, because now you're not handing over your money to some third-party institutions. But then, as we heard in the Peter Parker movies, with great power comes great responsibility, and that responsibility is a huge responsibility. So, Devin, I would love for you to lean a little bit into what the Hedera Foundation, the HBAR Foundation, as well as we have our DLT Science Foundation that is built on top of Hedera. We also have the Hashgraph Association. We have all of these entities doing a lot of work in terms of onboarding institutions, onboarding nonprofits, and especially with the DLT Science Foundation contributing a lot of research to the blockchain ecosystem, to the DLT ecosystem. So what I would love to learn from you is, from Hedera's perspective, how do you see all of these entities, again, helping onboard people? And it's not just about onboarding them as retail users, but onboarding the people who are building for these people, right? Onboarding the builders, onboarding the researchers. Can you talk about some Hedera wins, or just the organizations and what are their different functions?
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things about the foundations that you was talking about, these are all grant-giving foundations within the Hedera ecosystem. So we have a lot of different, one thing that we do is we lean on the projects within the ecosystem to help do that onboarding. So I think that within itself kind of talks about how well we vet these projects before we kind of let them in. And it's more of a, and then within the Hashgraph focus, which is like the pillar that I work for that holds all of like engineering, marketing, sales team, if you want to think of it that way. We have like a developer relations team and a developer advocacy team that are these sort of solutions architects and these onboarding mechanisms that will help these projects sort of get up to speed with the grants, as well as they're like giving them sort of like a business advice as they're going down the road. All of that to say is that we really invest in ourselves, we really invest in the ecosystem, and like propping up different projects like Karate Combat that is in this sort of gaming customer loyalty space, or if it's a tokenization example, we're working with BlackRock or Aberdeen, or we're like in, I don't know, sustainability, and we're working with Hyundai because they're putting everything that they're making within their factories onto Hedera to really like keep track of their carbon footprint in the world. It really just shows, one, like we have a breadth of knowledge in a lot of different areas within how that incorporates within Web3. But there's a lot of expertise that we're excited to share with people who are looking to come into the ecosystem. Yeah, and I would also add that we have like a governance structure that's part of Hedera that is like 29 different Fortune 500 brands out there that are now actually also hosting a node for the network, so there are validators today. I think that in itself, if they believe in our technology, it kind of also gives like an underlying like, okay, a little reassurance to people who are looking to come over.
These include companies like Google, Boeing, ServiceNow, IBM, Dell. So yes, some of the top Fortune 100, 500 companies out there. By the way, if you're interested in building on top of Hedera, they do have an online hackathon also coming up, running in November and December, with prizes worth $300,000 up for grabs, and it's online, so that always helps out.
Get to hacking.
Yeah.
You get to hack it, yes, in a good way, ethical hacking though. You get to build. If you're a builder in the room, do watch out for the hackathon. Now, Lucas, my last question is going to be to you before I hand it over for a couple of questions to the audience, right? Again, we have been talking about responsibility, right? Bringing people on responsibly into the ecosystem. Now, you have had a breadth of experience, not just with social proof, but you've been in the Web3 space for a while. What I would love to ask you is, in your journey of the past 5 to 6 years at least in this Web3 space, what have you seen change? And in the next 5 years or so, what are some of the new changes that you are excited about that will help us truly take Web3 to the masses?
Great question, and I hope I can answer it. I mean, the most important part is obviously security, not having scams going on anymore too. Again, I think what we saw, what happened during the pandemic, like I said, NFTs took off. We're never going to see the prices of NFTs go up that high ever again. Just, I hope everybody knows that by now. But it was crazy, right? So I was like sitting in Twitter audio spaces for like 6,000 hours of hosting space. It was crazy. Had a lot of free time. But things are gonna change. There's gonna be a lot of consolidation in terms of new blockchains coming out, then they're going to be consolidated into the big ones, just like any kind of like bubble happens, and then consolidation, then bubbles, then consolidations happen. So I think the future is going to be everything's going to be on chain to verify that it's authentic, because we have so many AI generated videos right now we don't know are real, so many photographs that are generated you don't know are real. You're going to have like verification of like, hey, CNN put this video out and here it ties all the way back to chain saying this is real. I think everything will be on chain, especially for security. Once we fix wallet problems too, like creating a double layer wallet where one layer kind of is like the trick and it sees what gets triggered by these smart contracts, and then all of a sudden you can see, oh, okay, it tried to drain my wallet. Luckily, the second layer's there that it didn't get passive encryption. And AI can obviously help with that as well. So the future is a blend of blockchain and obviously LLMs and the broad term AI mixed with the internet that we already use, guys. Like the internet, that's what we're running on right now. So the rails are Web 1, or actually in theory like Web 0, and we're still, I guess it's more like Web 0.5. But I think that's what we're going to see in the future is basically wallets, blockchain, everything being very, very secure, and eventually we won't even have wallets in our pockets anymore. We're just going to break out either our phones or maybe even, I'll tell you afterwards if you guys want to come up and ask me about it, but I have a product idea that you don't want to hand your phone over to a cop when you get pulled over, right? Like, why would you want to do that? Like, you're handing over your phone, oh, here's my insurance. I see so many people doing that, by the way. Here's my insurance. Like, you're giving them your phone. What are you doing? So anyway, I think the future is going to be a combination of all these technologies.
Thank you, Lucas. With that, we have time for a couple of audience questions. So, JP, if you could help me pass on the mic. Do we have, oh, we have a hand up there.
Hi, thanks. So you guys are experts in this field. Tokenization, pump and dump, especially coming potentially from Asian investors looking to work with American startups, but we don't know what's real and what's not. Any advice on how to weed out the valid ones coming to potential from investors on the tokenization front? And how was your experience in that?
So the question is about weeding out the chaff from the green when it comes to tokenization.
Yeah, I can actually speak to that because I started a public company back in 2005 on the pink sheets in the OTC market. So I know all about the scams and everything, and this is like a repeat of that. And I did a lot of talks on Max Mayer's channel actually analyzing those projects, a lot of the projects that were coming from the game industry. They're mainly game projects. And they were raising like $30 million. And the guy was a game player and written a white paper in one page. That's a good red flag right there. So we have this list of stuff that you can go through. But in general, you know, I see all these guys come on and you know, try to start a project. A lot of them, most of them are scams, but some of them are just plain failures. They don't know what they're doing. So you got to kind of figure out which one are really trying to do something and which one are just scams. And so, you know, the whole pump and dump on the NFT side of things is really bothersome to me personally because I have a real project that's been going on for 8 years now, and it is hard to rise above the noise a lot of times. But you just have to get somebody in there that knows what they're doing and quickly can analyze a project and say, okay, they are coding, you know, look at their GitHub, they are doing something real, they're not hiding it, transparency is the biggest thing. Our GitHub repo, we have 107 repos, completely open sourced. You can see everything we're doing on a daily basis. And if you have that, that's a good indicator that it's a real project. Yeah, we may fail, or we won't fail, but maybe some project will fail. But in general, that's how you kind of have to, you know, get the weed through the chaff. So.
Absolutely, especially when you're looking for projects that are trying to build for sustainability. But if you're looking at projects that are just meme coins, then you have some websites like Rockpool Checker, and in fact, today even some sites like Moonshots, etc., the platforms, they will have these various indicators that will show you that, oh, this token is just wash trading, right? They will have these various indicators. A lot of the times there are comments that are also just added by robots. So you really have to weed through it. Unfortunately, we are not there yet. But if you know where to look for, then we do have some websites, some platforms that are taking those first steps towards educating the masses and trying to help onboard them in a safe way. All right, I think we can take one more question. So JP is bringing the mic to you, and you can mention your name and then.
My name is Clive, and the question I have is really something that I think concerns everyone on the panel. Probably does. And my question is around what has your experience been when you deal with investors, when you raise money? Do they get it? Do they understand it? And what kinds of problems do you think that companies in your situations really struggle with, and how you can like bridge this gap between all this new stuff that probably most investors are really unfamiliar with? How do you get to a point where you can explain this clearly to them and have them feel confident in going ahead and investing in your companies?
I'd say that they should hire someone that's an expert in order to vet things. They shouldn't just be like, oh, why don't you tell me? Because we're all going to be biased. Like at the end of the day, of course you should give me your money. I have the best if there ever was. So I think any investor that wants to get into AI, Web3, doesn't really matter. Blockchain could be, anything. You should always have an expert, category expert, entrepreneur in residence, whatever it is, so they can go through and vet it. And of course, you should always have a developer. You should always have someone that's like a data scientist, like myself, or somebody that looks at it and goes, something's not so right here. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And of course, you can leverage AI in order to you have AI vetting tools out there now that can just be like, what do you think of this? Like the investor's going to look at it and be like, let us run it through my filters instead of an Excel spreadsheet where you're plugging in a couple of numbers here and there and getting some, okay, yeah, this makes sense. AI will do that for you. You just like throw a large data set in there and say, hey, does this look legit to you? Or these numbers look too good to be true? 15% ROI every single year. Okay, Bernie Madoff again. So I would say, I think it's easier than you think. Just hire an expert.
I would go to say it depends on the type of investor, because there's the traditional VC investor that needs all this information and vets everything. But your best bet is vet the founders. See what they've done. And if they're not willing, if they want to remain anonymous, don't invest in that project. Whatever you do, you got to vet the founders, because that's, if they have a track record and you can see their passion and that they're actually executing on something, then that's a good start from the top down. Then you can go further with that. And that's like the first step I would do, is just vet the founders.
Thank you. Well, I do want to thank all of our panelists here. Thanks for your time, and thanks to the lovely audience. We are going to continue networking. You have this space. You obviously have a lot of food outside. Please make sure that you get rid of all the food, because I'm from the Bay Area. I'm not carrying any of that back with me. So please make sure that there's lots of food. We don't also want to waste the food. That being said, during networking, we are going to have open mic here. So the concept of the open mic is simple. If you want to come here and you just want to connect with the audience at large, just come and take the microphone for 45 seconds. Okay, this is an honor system. So you can come up on stage and say, hey, I'm a founder, I'm looking to connect with investors in the room. Or if even better, if you're an investor, you can come and say, I'm an investor, I'm looking for startups and founders to invest in. So we are going to leave the microphone here for open mic. We will have the open mic running for the next 10 minutes or so. So anyone who wants to come up here, they can just speak to the audience. This is going to continue while we kick off networking. Again, thank you to our lovely audience here. Thanks to our panelists. Maybe we can stand up and grab a picture together. Thank you. Again, thank you guys. I'll have my panelists come off stage. Thank you guys. And again, we have open mic, so if you want to come here, connect with everyone. Oh, you don't want to chat? Hey guys, all right, Soji, there you go.
Hi everybody, my name is Sergey. I'm running Web3 community called Gain Ventures. This is Syndicate and Accelerator. We're doing a lot of events with investors and startups. We're doing a lot of events with startups and investors all across the globe. I would love to connect with founders that want spotlight and connect with our investment network. And I also want to connect with investors that want to become the part of our network across Singapore, Dubai, New York, LA, SF, and Miami. Thank you very much. My name is Sergey, Web3 community, 14,000 members. Thanks.
Thank you, Sergey. Again, Sergey is here to connect with investors as well as the founders and funders who are looking to attend these various events. Thank you, Sergey. Do we have anyone else who wants to come up and take the open mic? I know it's a little loud, but people can hear you. We had Hendrik who had asked about the open mic. All right, guys, we will keep the open mic running for a couple of minutes, so you'll have time. All right, can you just give me a minute? I'll turn on the lights and come back, okay? Thank you. And then God said, "Let there be light." I hope this wakes people up. If you have any more people who want to come and take the mic, please feel free to do that. We will keep this running for another 5 to 7 minutes. And if we don't have anyone coming up, we will switch to some good music, okay?